How well can Bait Finesse reels cast 12-pound fluorocarbon line? In this video series, I'll be testing different Bait Finesse setup and see how well they can cast 12-pound fluorocarbon line, because I truly believe that the best way to take Bait Finesse to the next level in America is to show what Bait Finesse is all about, how it originated, and how Sawamura Yukihiro, which is the founder of Bait Finesse, used Bait Finesse fishing in tournaments. So recently, I have fished with the father of Bait Finesse, Sawamura Yukihiro. We fished on the Mississippi River in Wisconsin, La Crosse, and this is perfect because when Sawamura developed Bait Finesse, he originally started his project in a river setting. He was basically fishing in structure such as wood and rocks down to 15 feet deep, and he wanted to use a bait casting setup over spinning setup due to its efficiency, but bait casting reels at that time could not cast very light lures, so he developed spools through his company called KTF. Okay, he created these shallow spools that allow him to do close quarter casting very accurately. Okay, he could handle different diameter lines, and he would cast very, very soft and get that quiet entry. It's all about that efficiency. And let me talk to you about things that I found while fishing with the father of Bait Finesse. When I was fishing with Sawamura on the river, I was using mainly 6, 7, and 8 pound fluorocarbon. I have 3 setups, right? And he said that I was fishing too light. I was using too light of a lures, too small lures, and too thin of a line. Now, let's take a step back for a second, right? I'm not a tournament angler. I'm more of a finesse angler, and I love Bait Finesse because it's very versatile. It handles a lot of my fishing needs, okay? Especially when I use that thinner line. You get that further casting distance, you cast lighter lures. However, because Sawamura is a tournament angler, his perspective on Bait Finesse is a lot different than mine, okay? He got to be fishing for fish to win a paycheck, right? So he had to fish in cover. And he recommends me to use 10 to 12 pound test line, and then anything that's extreme side, like where you have big fish or the structure is just crazy, you gotta use power Bait Finesse, and that's a different category itself that we would cover at a different time. But just to give you a quick teaser, right? Power Bait Finesse involves fluorocarbon lines from 14 to 20 pounds. So that's some thick stuff. Let me share with you a quick story, okay, about our trip. So because I had a lot thinner line, typically when we come up to a structure and we fish a structure and try to catch fish off these structure, I'm pretty much fishing around the structure and hopefully get a bite. But Sawamura, this is different. Okay, so check this out. Okay, so first off, foremost, his most used lure is a Nico rig. Okay, so he has a about 6-inch worm, finesse worm, very, very finesse profile, so it's very thin. And he Nico rigs it, wacky rig, you know, the wacky rig style where they take one end of it and put a nail weight, and he used a wacky rig hook that is weedless. It has very fine wire guards on it, and he would fish over the structure, like over the structure. I mean, it's a Nico rig, man. Like the contraption itself looks like it's gonna tangle regardless, right? But no, he casts over the entire structure. He works off the bottom into the structure, and then he works up the structure and then fall down each individual branch. Like I'm watching him, right? So he drags, in fact, I'll show you right now by holding this rod here. He would drag the lure over the branch, and he'll leave the lure kind of hanging, right? Suspended, and he will take his hand like this, and he's like just jiggling with his rod tip, like very softly, and then if there's no bite, he will gently retrieve and bring the lure over the branch. Like I was amazed, okay? Like he dragged the Nico rig over each individual branch and not get snagged. And then eventually he sees him, he's a bite, and he sets up and he boom, sets the hook, and he pulls out a nice smallmouth bass that's hiding underneath a fallen tree. That's not possible if I were using those thinner line, which is why I've been avoiding it the entire time. So yeah, fishing with the father of Bait Finesse inspired me to try Bait Finesse in a different way, basically how it was originally developed, and it's developed for tournament anglers, okay? Sawamura is a tournament angler. He's a legend in Japan, and now he's fishing in the US. He's fishing Bassmaster Open, and he'll be back again next year, 2026, so you definitely want to check him out. follow him on Instagram. You guys check out the link in the description below. But basically, he's exploring different bodies of water in America and continue to evolve bait finesse. And he's hopefully going to win some big money in the US and show how you can use bait finesse. Okay, so anyhow, what I'm doing is I'm gonna take a step back and I want to do some bass fishing in cover using thicker line. And I thought to myself, can a typical bait finesse reel handle 12-pound test line? So this spool here is Sawamura's KTF spool. He has a tuning company that he creates spools for his bait finesse setups. He has different size spools to handle different diameter fluorocarbon line, right? So I'm asking myself, when it comes to bait finesse, right, your typical reel, how well can it handle thick fluorocarbon line? So I picked a specific diameter, 12 pounds, right? I'm gonna see how this spool here behaves first. So I'm gonna set the bar very high right up from the get-go. And then I'm gonna check out other reels that's on the market. Also, we'll check out his other KTF spools. I'll also check out other aftermarket spools and see how well they handle 12-pound fluorocarbon line. And eventually, I'll explore the power bait finesse side, exploring even thicker lines. But I think right now, 12-pound could potentially be a diameter that most reels could handle, which is why I'm starting with 12-pound test line. Within the video description below and also at the end screen, you'll see the video series playlist where you can find all the videos that I'll be testing for this project. I hope you find this series useful, and I hope to see you use bait finesse and catch fish out of cover very soon. The bait finesse movement is here. Subscribe and learn more.